Also, as an aside, anything when Jeff leaves, I'll be taking over the CAP program. So any questions you guys have moving forward, hopefully I'll be able to answer. If not, Jeff will be a phone call away. But I will be the new resource for that. So make sure I follow up with contact information.
Thanks for coming tonight. I really appreciate it. Raise your hand if you've already signed into the program as a manager before. Okay. Raise your hand if you have your username and password, like you're logged in already. Okay. If you don't have that information, you can get it from me afterwards. There's going to be a little bit of break between this and when the players come in. So if you do not have that, I'll be able to give that to you once I'm done with the presentation. This program should make your job a lot easier as a manager, because a lot of the things that you're probably required to do as a manager may take a lot of time when it comes to like printing out brochures and different things like that. So what this program is going to do is kind of do the work for you when it comes to being able to print out your brochures, and really it's going to put the work on the players, and all you're going to have to do is basically push a button. So the way it works is, again, everyone should have a username and password. All I have to do is go to collegefitfinder.com and click login. Once I do that, it's going to take me to a login page where I just enter my username and password. That username and password is tied to each team. So when I log in, the username and password are going to be the same. So the first thing you want to do is change the password. So all I have to do where these three lines are in the right corner, I would click that. It says account info, you click that. And then on the bottom, it just says change password. And I enter the new password twice. Click change password, it will change the password for you. Now while I'm here, the other thing that you'll be able to do is you're going to be able to select the brochure type. So there's two types of brochures. There's a trifold and there's a front and back brochure. So in order to change the brochure type, where it says brochure type, I would just click on that. There's going to be a drop down, and then I can select whether I want the trifold or the front and back. Once you're done, all I have to do is click on athletes. It's going to take you to your roster. Now we've already uploaded all of your athletes for you. But if you go in here, let's just say you're missing a player or you need to add a couple different players, you can do that anytime. All I have to do is click on this first plus sign. There's a drop down. I would put in the first name, last name, and then you do have to enter in the email and phone number, but let's just say you do not have that information. If you just put in a letter, it'll allow you to move on and save the changes. Now, again, if you just put in a letter and not their email, that can be changed on their end once they log in. So it's easy just to create the account, set in their username and password, and then they'll have immediate access. Now, in order to get the username and passwords for players, maybe you're missing like 5 or 6 players that need their username and passwords, there's a down arrow right here. If I click that down arrow, it's going to download an Excel sheet where I'm able to pull up all the username and passwords of the players on my team. Then, let's just say you're missing, or 5 players don't have their logins, you're able to send that login information to the players directly. Now, we as at College Fit Finder do not send out the username and passwords to the players because we don't want them thinking we're just a third party. So it's coming directly from the club or the managers. It's more likely that they're going to access the program right away. Now, let's just say you have a player that is guesting from another team inside the club. I can take any player from another team inside the club and allow them to guest on my team. So in order to do that, the second plus sign, I would click that. There's going to be a drop down of all the players in the club. You just type in the name of the player that's guesting with you. Again, maybe it's a U15 player guesting up on your U16 team. You select the player, and when you save it, what's going to happen is it's going to duplicate the account and put the account on this brochure and this team page. Now, once you're done, you would just have to delete that player account if they're no longer going to be on your roster. Now, there's different ways to take players on and off your brochure. So the first thing you can do is these check marks indicate who's on the brochure and who's not. So if you look at the top, it's telling you that 16 of your 18 athletes are on your brochure. But let's just say you're going through and you're like, okay, this player won't be here at the next event. Maybe they got hurt. Maybe they just won't be there. You're able to just click on the check mark. When I remove the check mark, it removes them from the brochure. So if you do have a player guesting from another team inside the club, and maybe they are dual rostered and they kind of play with your team ever so often, you don't have to delete them. You can just take away the check mark. So they stay on your roster, but they're not on your brochure until you click on the check mark to add them. Now, all I have to do at that point is a couple different things. First thing, if you want to ever delete a player from your team, so maybe a player left your team and went to another team in the club, or they left the club, all I have to do is this little pencil pointing at a box. There's one next to each player card. If I click on that, there's going to be a drop down. If I scroll to the bottom, I'm able to click delete from team, and it'll move them into the no team tab, and they'll be moved off your roster. Now, all this information that you see here is basically what's going to be on the team brochure. So if you go in and maybe one of the players is missing their jersey number or something like that, you're able to go in here and add that information so it does show up on the brochure. Once I click save, it'll save whatever changes you made to that player profile. So again, if one of your players is missing something, you're able to add that information simply, again, just by clicking on that little pencil pointing at a box. Now, if I want to click on my team profile, I'll just click on profile. Now, this is your team profile, so I can send this to someone outside of College Fit Finder. All I have to do is copy and paste the URL at the top. When I put that in email, coach clicks on the link, they're going to be able to go access your team profile. They can go to each individual player from the one link that you send them. So send them that link, they will be able to go to each individual player profile from the one link that you send them. And again, I'm just copying the URL at the top. Now under info, I just want to click on that. When you first log in, it's important that you fill this information out because a lot of this information will show up on the individual player brochures and they cannot edit that information. So for example, let's just say you forgot to put in the team level or league, it will be blank on every single player's account that's under your, or that's on your team. So you may get a couple calls asking you to fill in that information. So again, under info, I would just go in here and fill out the information the first time, and then it'll be in there every single time. So first thing, there's just a drop down of coaches. You can select your coach from the drop down. If your coach doesn't show up on the drop down, that would be something that you can call College Fit Finder, or you can call myself, and we'll be able to make those changes for you. Now there's only a couple things you cannot do as a manager. Another one of those things that you cannot do is you cannot take a player from another club that maybe they were on a different club and they moved to this club. That would have to be something that I can do. But again, if someone else comes from a different club, we can take that account, move it to this club, so that way they don't have to start over if they've already had College Fit Finder at another club. All you have to do is contact us with the player name, what club they were at, and I can quickly make the change so that you can access that player. Now, the other thing that I could do is under team level, there won't be a logo there. You're just able to click, well, there'll be a circle. You just click on the level of your team. If it's like, DA, ECNL, one of the leagues that are pretty, throughout the nation, we'll have the logo for you. But if it's a local league that maybe isn't kind of throughout the country, you would have to add that information in yourself, and I'll show you how to do that. But you're just going to put the name of the league. Now, again, if it's like the NPL, ECNL, DA, we'll have a drop down of all of those logos for you to add in. Now, let's just say it's a local league. I can click on select from my computer and then choose the file. So you can pull up any logo from the internet to be able to put on the team brochure. Once I press next, it'll add that information onto your team brochure. The other thing is you can add in any type of team accomplishments or team notes or bio. So for example, maybe you want to put your team schedule here for the event that you're having so that when you hand it out to college coaches, they're able to see your other games. So you can basically put anything you want under team bio or notes. And then again, for team accomplishments, you want to make sure you fill those out. Now for the club accomplishments and the club info, this has to be filled out by the club. And I'm pretty sure that's already filled out. But again, if it isn't, that's something you can contact the club, or you can contact me anytime and I can fix that issue for you as well. Now once you're done filling all that out, if you want to print out your brochure, all I have to do is click print. It's going to download the PDF of your team brochure. Now all I have to do is click up here where it says print, or I can download it as an attachment. So maybe I want to take this to FedEx or something like that and print out a bunch of brochures on nicer paper or something like that. You're able to download the file, print it out, or like I mentioned before, just copy and paste the URL at the top. So there's multiple ways for you to send this information to college coaches. Now, again, as I scroll down and I look at some of the information on here, all the information that you see is put in by the players. So all you're going to have to do as a team manager is maybe you guys have an event coming up, just remind them, hey, make sure you update your player profiles. I'm going to print these out on Thursday. So now the players are updating their profiles, you're printing it out, and now everything's up to date when you go to that event. Even where it says committed here, this information is put in by the players, so when the players commit on their end, it automatically changes on the team brochure. So everything that's put in on the player side will automatically filter into the team manager side. So again, all you're having to do is remind them to update their player profiles. Now, for the team manager aspect, that's pretty much it. Does anyone have any questions just about the team manager aspect? Yes?
Can you back up a little bit? We've got a younger kiddo, and this is all brand new to
Okay.
me. What the heck is this?
Okay, so this is a college recruiting tool that's provided by the club for everyone in the club. What I'm showing you right now is for the team managers. The next thing I'm going to show when the players get here is for the players. So basically the players' end of it, they're the ones driving all of the work. They're filling out their player profiles. They're able to look through a college search database, do their own highlight videos. Basically everything they need along this process is put into this system and it's provided to you free of charge from your club. So again, this is just something that's going to help market the players to college coaches, make it easier on the team managers, make it easier on the coaches to be able to get players to get committed to universities.
So as a team manager, what would we do with the brochure?
So when you guys go to showcases and events, there's going to be college coaches at these events. So when you see, again, 20 college coaches, you're going to want to have a brochure to hand out to them with basic information about the player. So as they're going through and watching them play the game, they're going to be able to say, have that information, and then be able to take notes and figure out, is this a type of player that I want to recruit? So by giving them the brochure, by giving them this information, it makes the job a lot easier on the college coach. Now, if I don't have that information and they're trying to find the contact information, the GPAs to make sure that player fits into their program, it's pretty much very hard to do. So this is just all the information in one spot to hand out to each college coach, and now they have the information they need to figure out, okay, can I recruit these players? Are they going to fit in my program? And again, it makes it easier for everybody. Can I answer your question?
I think it does.
Does anyone have any other questions? Again, about anything? Yeah.
Did I hear you correctly that as a manager you can download everybody's username and password as a CSV?
Yes. So I'll take you back real quick.
No, I don't need to know how to do it. I just
Yes, you can. So you can download the username and password, and then that way you're able to send it out to the players that do not have the access to their username and password.
so just a comment as somewhat of a security professional that make sure you tell players and parents when they're creating accounts not to use reuse passwords or usernames like that, because that's you use the same password for your bank account or
No, definitely.
anything else, right? Anybody can get a hold of those, and now it's on CSVs on everybody's desktops.
No, and definitely, the one thing I would suggest too is, the reason why we make it accessible for the team managers, again, the players don't have any ability to find anyone else's username and password. It's just the coaches and the managers that have the ability to pull up that information. That way, if, again, maybe they forgot their password or they have never logged in before, they're going to be able to get that information from somebody.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
Just people should know to
No, definitely.
know that
And I'll-
everyone's people are going to have access to their usernames and passwords.
And I'll make sure that, when the players come in, they'll know that, because I'll mention the managers and their club coaches have the ability to see that information.
How
Yeah.
do you know how many to bring off for these events, and then how do you locate these people?
So when you go to an event, the college coaches are going to be very noticeable. They're going to be wearing, again, polos that maybe have the logo or a hat that has the logo. They're all going to be in the same spot because there's most events, there's certain places where college coaches, like college coaches only, so you're going to basically see them all sitting on their chairs watching games, and then you as the manager would basically walk around, hand them a brochure. Again, I'm not trying to have any conversations, hand them a brochure. Maybe they ask you a question about something, then that's when I would, give them the information they're looking for. But
So
again, really, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so whenever I go, I always have a parent that volunteers, and literally during the games, they're making rounds, so that they can pay attention and start handing them out.
And let me give you an example. Sometimes when you go to an event, and maybe a local event, and there's not very many college coaches at it, so I wouldn't have to print out too many brochures, but maybe you go to an ECL event or a DA event. There could be 50 college coaches at these events, so it's always good to, I would say, maybe ask your coach or ask someone in the club to say, hey, typically how many college coaches come to this event? Again, some events may only have 5, but some events may have 50 or even more. So it's important to know, again, how many I should be able to bring to each event, so that way you're not in a situation where you're running out of brochures. Now, the other thing that we've done to make it easier on you as well, is at the top of every brochure, there's a QR code. So let's just say you ran out of brochures. All the coach needs is a QR reader, and they can scan it, and then to pull up on their phone. So that is one of the new features we come out to make it a lot easier. So if you do run out of team brochures, you can say, okay, coach, here you go, just scan this, boom, it gets pulled up on their phone. Now they have access to all of those players to be able to see if they want to recruit them.
And those showcase events and tournaments, on the tournament website, have a list of college coaches who registered to attend. And it'll give you some idea.
But typically, the bigger events, ECNL, DA, those will have a lot more coaches at it. There still are some showcase events that aren't associated with a big league that may have a good amount of coach stat as well. But again, just like he said, on each website, there's going to be a list of coaches that have registered for the event. Does anyone have any other questions about anything to do with the system? So if you do not have your username and password, if you just want to come up front and I'll take you through and get you your username and password.
Well,
That way, while we're waiting.
Jeff, we do have all of that.
Oh, you already got it?
We should have everybody's at the office, so if you guys need any info about usernames and passwords, just reach out to me.
Got it, okay.
And I'll they don't need to.
Okay, cool. So yeah, again, reach out to Brenda, and then she'll be able to give you that information right away, and you'll be able to kind of get started with this immediately. Again, as a team manager, the one thing you want to do is go in and click on info under your profile to fill out just the basic information about your coach and team level, so that shows up on every individual player profile.
And then let me add to that as well. We've got across the board teams here from our top on down in the high school age group. All of the teams have a team account. So if you're a gold team, a royal team, all of the teams have an account that's already set up. The club set those up. All you need to do is reach out. Between Peter and I, we should have all the information that you need to get your logins and stuff like that. But everybody should already have an account set up, every team. Not all players. We imported most of the players, but not everybody's in there, but most of the players should be in there as well.
And players can be added any time. So if you are missing players, you can personally add those as the team manager. Yes.
So this is the second iteration that we've seen before.
Yes.
So you used to have a thing where it showed like percentage complete.
Okay. Of the individual player profile?
These two was the individual profile.
So that's still here, if you notice,
Okay.
on the bottom right, it just says
You don't-
64% profile.
Right, do you have one for the info? For the,
So for the team brochure,
Yeah.
that is more, that would have to be seen on the admin side. So the admin
Oh, okay.
login that the club gets can see all of the team, all the team profiles, and it'll say 40% complete, 50% complete. So if you do have a question about how much of my profile is completed, you can reach out to the administrator and they'll be able to tell you, hey, you only have 40% completed.
Brenda or somebody?
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
You just have to be one level above. I
Yeah,
got
so
it.
yeah, it just has to be the admin level to be able to
Okay.
see all of the teams.
Okay.
Any other questions about anything? Again, if you need anything, if there's something that you come across that doesn't seem to be working properly, or if you have questions about things, you can contact me at any time. I'll make sure that I get my information sent out to the club, and that way, again, if you need something, you can contact me. The last thing that I do want to mention, though, if you do ever have an issue or you have a question about something, under support, there's a couple things. First thing is under contact us. There's just the ability to be able to type in a message. It'll send directly to us. We usually answer within 24 hours. Usually it's a lot faster than that. So if you do have any issues whatsoever, just go under support, contact us. Now also, we do come up with updates usually once a month. So if you're curious as to what updates we've made this month, you'll be able to click under updates to see what updates we've made in the last month or so. Again, if you need anything, feel free to contact me, contact the admin or the club, and they'll be able to help you out with whatever you need with the program. Thanks, everybody. And then for the players, we'll get started in about 5 minutes.